Yo, so throughout the last 3.5, almost 4 years of my life has greatly evolved around the concept of cold email and sending cold emails for B2B companies to book as many meetings as possible. And throughout the last almost 4 years, we have sent tens of millions of emails. We have booked tens of thousands of qualified sales meetings through those emails we've sent. We have closed thousands of clients, not just for us, but also for our clients and their campaigns and projects that they're working on. And we have also generated around $30 million in revenue that can be attributed directly to these cold email campaigns. I suspect that a bit more, but we can't quantify all of it. So I'm not gonna overshoot it just in case, So in this video, what I want to do is I want to break down a lot of the myths and misconceptions that people have around cold email. There's a lot of noise in the market. Cold email is getting a bit more, or is getting more popular year after year after year, and people are just coming up with a bunch of nonsense and bunch of nonsense noise that just doesn't really have an impact in the performance of cold email. So the chances are, if you run an agency, so let's say you're a social media marketing agency owner, an AI automation owner, or whatever copywriting agency owner, and you use cold email to sign yourself clients, or let's say you run a B2B lead generation agency where you use cold email to also sign your clients, some new deals, or let's say you just run a B2B company and you're just trying to get some more clients through the door with cold email, the chances are that you have gone to YouTube and you have seen a bunch of crazy stuff. Use this tool, use this script, use this, use that, use this, blah, blah, blah. And you don't even know really what matters anymore at the end of the day. So in this video, I'm gonna show you what truly matters. And I'm gonna show you the number one, most impactful, most important, the highest leverage thing that you can focus on in your cold email campaigns and ensure that the campaigns that you run actually work, so you don't have to blindly be testing all of this random yapping that you see online, yeah? So the first thing that we need to understand with cold email, and this is like the main concept of this, is that there are different levels of impact in a cold email campaign, yeah? And I usually like to split these levels into 3 different segments. So I'm just gonna take the triangle and draw 2 different lines here, and I'm just gonna make this like this. And there's 3 different levels to this, and this is the pyramid of cold email results. On the top floor, let's call this level 1. This is level 1. Level 2, boom. Maybe I should start preparing these boards in advance so you could save some time. Level 3. So these are all the level 3s, or all the 3 levels that we have in a cold email campaign. And on the level 1, when we work on things on the level 1, we are able to have a small impact in the performance of the cold email campaign. Maybe we can get a 5% increase in the performance of the cold email campaign, maybe on a good day 20%. So when we work on things that go into level 1, we can take a campaign from booking 3 meetings a month to maybe on a good day, maybe 4 meetings a month. But really, you're not gonna make or break a campaign by working on things on this level 1. You're only gonna hyper optimize a campaign that is already working really well. When you go to level 2, this is where things get a bit more juicier. So here we can have the impact of 20% to maybe on a good day 100%. But once again, if you have a poorly performing cold email campaign that is only booking few meetings a month, 5 meetings a month, yeah, it's great if you can double the performance of it, but once again, that's not gonna make you ultra mega rich and successful. And then here on level 3, we have things that can either literally 2x or go as far as 10x the performance of the campaign, of a normal cold email campaign. So if we want to be smart entrepreneurs and really take advantage of the time that we have in the best possible way, obviously we want to work on the things that are on the level 3 first before doing any of that hyper optimizing here, Like if you have a campaign and you can only do one thing to increase the performance, it probably should be something on level 3, because there you have a chance, when you get it right, to 2 to 10x the performance of the campaign, right? So that is obviously extremely, extremely important. So what things go on this triangle? Starting from level 1, this is where all of the hyper optimization comes in. Here we can use different call to actions. So if you go to and watch some cold email tutorials, the chances are that there's some different call to actions that they tell you, or templates, different templates that you find online, or you can target different like sending times and small settings in the tweaks, like subject lines. You can change the subject line of your cold email and change some settings, sending settings, etc. And here you can have like a small impact. You can change your call to action or cold email campaign. You can a little bit nudge it up, or maybe you can try a different template. It can have a bit of an impact. You can change the subject line, get a bit more opens on your email, but it's really not going to save a failing campaign. Then when we go to level 2, this is where things get a bit more interesting once again. Here we can target different titles and geography. I don't know how to write it, geography. I know it's not written like that. We can target different geographies. We can use different strategies of sending cold emails. So maybe we can offer looms, maybe we can offer audits, maybe we can do one quick questions, whatever. We can also here use different lead sources. We can use different technologies. So maybe we want to implement Clay, so different tech, different softwares, different tools in the market. Or maybe I'm going to zoom in a bit on here. Or maybe we can use different, what is the word? Yeah, deliverability. Boom. I'm not gonna even try to write that one out because I do not truly care. And these are the things that you can, in the best case scenario, you can 2x performance the campaigns. But once again, if your campaign isn't working really well, it's not gonna have a huge impact. And then we go into level 3 where all the magic happens. Here, the things are the niche. So who are we actually selling to? We can change the offer, aka what are we selling? And we can target different sophistication, yeah, or awareness levels on our cold email campaigns. If you are smart and you already probably grasp some of the main concepts here, when you start a new cold email campaign, or even if you're optimizing an old cold email campaign, you should be working on the things that are here on the level 3. You should be focusing on who are you selling to, what are you selling, how much do they already know about the current solutions in the market, and how much they have seen of the current solution in the market, and how aware are they that they have some problems. Obviously, this makes a lot of sense. And then when you have like actually figured all of these things out and you can cross these off the list, then it makes sense because you already have a well-performing campaign. You should already be booking 10 to 30 meetings a month here. Then you can go on to level 2 and start fixing your deliverability, implementing tools like Clay, testing different strategies, testing different things in your targeting, testing different lead sources, etc. And then when you finally get these things checked off, then you can move in here. But also realistically, just as a reminder, even if you feel that you are a special cookie and I have a perfect targeting, I have a perfect offer, I have a perfect niche, if you are not realistically booking at least 10 to 30 meetings a month, you don't have everything figured out here. And to be honest, those are really low numbers. By just working on things here, you can get to extremely high numbers, 50 to 100 meetings a month even. So like that's like, if you ever see like someone absolutely printing with cold email and you know that they're not like a crazy cold email expert, you're like, what's happening there? You go look at their campaigns and they're like, in the traditional sense of cold email, they're like, these are absolutely terrible. They're like, what the fuck is happening here? How do these work? It is because everything they have in the level 3 and the foundations of this cold email pyramid, they have figured out, yeah, they might not have the best tech, they might not have the best deliverability, maybe they don't have the best CTA or best template or sending times. But when you have these things here figured out, those things don't matter. This is really where the money is made, you know? And also realistically, when you run a cold email campaign, you won't really get to here until you have sent like emails for at least 6 months. In most cases, it's gonna take you way longer to get here. So if you haven't been running the same campaign for the same offer with the same targeting for at least 6 months and tested different things every single week and had crazy success, you shouldn't be even looking at here. This is like completely useless. This is like completely useless. And to get here, it's also gonna take a long time. At least 3, 4, 5 months of really good testing, and still that requires a lot of good fundamental marketing and sales knowledge about finding product market fit and all of these things. Of course, if you have more business experience, more marketing and sales experience, or more understanding about a niche, you're gonna get here faster. But if you're starting out green, once again, you're not gonna be here that fast. So what can we take away from this, and how can we actually use this knowledge? So pretty much what you always need to start out with when you start out a new cold email campaign, if we think about this in mind, is these are going to be the number 1 and number 2 leverage points. First thing, we have to figure out, who are we actually selling to? You know? And there is a small nuance in this process. So if you, let's say you are a B2B cold email lead generation agency, or you are in a position where you can't change the product. You have a product, you have a service, you have an offer, and you can't change it. That is set in stone. So maybe you have a lead gen client and they're like, we sell a SaaS product that helps you create AI, Facebook ad creators, whatever. You have a product, you can't change it. Or maybe you're an SDR or someone else and you have a product and you can't change it. Then you always start from the offer side. And I'm gonna show you in a second how that looks like. But if you are someone who can have a full control over what actually is being sold, you always start from this. Who are we actually selling to? This is the number one most important question. Second question that comes from this is, what problems do these people have? Okay, what problems do these people have? And then the question after this is going to be, how do we solve these problems? And these are going to be main questions that you're going to be asking when you have full control of the product or service being sold. Okay, who do we actually want to sell to? Where have we identified a market gap? Are we selling to what industry, what company size, what geographical location? Where do we have an advantage? Where do we understand more about the niche than most people? Or maybe what are we interested in if we don't have a unique advantage? Then, okay, we have figured this out. What problems do these people have? What procedural problems, what marketing problems, what sales issues, what operational issues do they actually have? And especially if we are creating a marketing solution, then it really makes sense to just focus on the main marketing problems. What problems do they have in their marketing process? And then when you have mapped all of these things out, so you map out who are you selling to, what problems do they have? So you have a big list of problems. Okay, how do we solve one or many of these problems? And then you can write out your solution. And in a lot of cases, what you're gonna find out is the offer that you're selling actually isn't relevant to the niche. So this can save you a lot of time if you're thinking, hey, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna sell Facebook ads to fucking, I don't know. I'm gonna sell Facebook ads to lead generation agencies. And then you map out and you're like, oh, actually these lead generation agencies don't really have a problem with Facebook ads because all of them use cold email or something else. Okay, my solution isn't really relevant here. I'm gonna sell something else. And then of course, if you are starting from the other perspective, so let's say you're a B2B lead generation agency or you're just someone who can't have an impact on the product, the questions you ask are a bit different, or at least they are in a different order. So the first question you ask is, how do we solve this problem? Like what, or like more so, what problems does this product / service solve? So let's say you work with a client that has let's say you are a B2B lead generation agency, okay, and you need to sell this B2B lead gen offer. The first question you ask is, okay, what problem does this product solve? This product solves, or this service solves a lot of problems. It solves the problem of unreliable lead generation. It solves the problem of empty pipeline, empty calendars, sales reps having no leads to work through, unfit leads, unqualified leads. They need to spend a lot of money on Facebook advertising. They need to hire a bunch of SDRs. They need to train a bunch of SDRs. They need to manage a bunch of SDRs. And a million other things. You have a big list of problems that the product or service solves. Yeah? Then after you have mapped out these problems, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna ask, okay, who has these problems? Boom. And that's gonna be the next question. And then you're gonna just map out all the different people that have these problems. Yeah? So okay, who has problems with unqualified leads? This industry, these type of companies, these kind of companies, this head size company, this industry, whatever. So you always work through, like, depending on how big of a control you have over the company, the questions change a bit, because obviously if you can't change what you're selling, you have to work with what you got. But then if you are in an amazing situation, like let's say you run your own agency, the main thing is going to be, who are we actually selling to and what problems we actually solve for these and how do we solve these problems. And then when you have mapped out those initial things, what you need to start doing is you need to find alignment. And how I like to always do this is I have the offer, or I have the product or the service. Boom. And then what I do, the first thing is I always write down a list of problems this product / service solves, or what desires does it actually generate. So that could be like what benefit it generates. So you list these things out, so you get creative and you once again start thinking, okay, what kind of problems does this product or service solve? So once again, let's say you sell cold email lead generation. Once again, for the sake of simplicity, you're gonna list down all of the things that this product or problem or service solves. Okay, unpredictable leads, stress because the pipeline is empty, unqualified leads, sales are being bored, the need to manage and hire and train an unproductive and expensive sales team, need to go to industry events, need to use paid advertising, boom, there's a bunch of services or a bunch of problems that it solves. And then we also have different end outcomes that it provides. Okay, what benefit does this product or service generate? And if it's B2B lead generation with cold email, okay, it generates more leads, more revenue, more clients, more predictability, higher enterprise value because it's an outbound mechanism, it works really well. It gathers really good data on the market. It achieves product market fit if you're working with early stage companies, and it has a bunch of different benefits it also generates. And this is going to be your main asset of selling. This is going to be the things that you use, and this is what you actually are selling. You're not selling cold email lead generation, you're selling solutions to these problems, and you're selling these end outcomes. And this works in other niches as well. Let's say you sell copywriting. Okay, what problems does your product or service solve? Low conversion rates on the funnel, low LTV because there's no actual good welcome sequence going on. Unqualified leads coming in because they don't actually understand what they're buying. A lot of high churn because people once again are signing up with the wrong expectations. You know, unprofitable Facebook advertising because the funnel doesn't convert high enough. Boom, it solves a bunch of problems. Okay, what benefit does it generate? It scales the company, generates revenue, generates customers, set expectations better, helps you deliver your message, blah, 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 million things. And then we take out this list where we say, okay, who has these problems? And we look at all of these, who has these problems or wants to achieve these benefits. Amazing. And then we look at the list that we have gathered and we start listing out based on market research and based on our knowledge of different markets and different industries. Once again, remember, you're not going to do this perfectly the first time around, but you're going to start listing different industries or different company types or different people who would like to get these benefits. Okay, who has a problem with low conversion rates on their landing page? E-commerce stores, info product companies, this company, that company, who is running Facebook ads and they're struggling with low ROAS, e-com companies, coaches, consultants, course creators, different B2B SaaS companies, startups in different industries, boom, 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 they want to achieve this. And you list out a list, once again, based on your best estimation and best information that you are working with, and you list out who has these problems or who has these benefits. And then your main job to make a cold email campaign work with the assets that you're working with is finding the best possible combination between things on this side and things on this side, you know? So here, because niche and offer, these are the number one difference makers in the cold email campaign. Like, you're gonna have everything perfect. You're gonna have the best clay setup, best deliverability, best strategy, best title targeting, best lead sources, the most expensive lead sources, best templates, best sending times, best everything. But if these things are not aligned, nothing is ever going to work. So then your job just becomes figuring out what variable from here do I need to connect with someone from here and what is the best combination. Maybe talking about increasing lifetime value through welcome sequences to e-commerce companies is gonna work the best out of all these variations. Or maybe talking about not having to train and manage a big SDR team to early stage startups is the best working combination. Or maybe talking about hitting 10 million ARR to B2B SaaS companies is gonna be the best working combination. And there's a million variables what makes the combination work the best. First of all, there is the variable of what are the main desires of the average character type in the industry. So let's say all the startup founders want to really change the world, or let's say all of the e-commerce store companies want to increase their enterprise value so they can have a massive exit, or all of the coaches and consultants want to create passive income to live a great life and travel around the world, whatever, you know? Like, there are different needs and desires and pains and failures and things, different awareness and sophistication stages here, and this is going to dictate what kind of problems and benefits they resonate with. And you might launch the first campaign and where you talk about increasing lifetime value and you send that message to a B2B, or you start targeting B2B SaaS companies, and this works well. You're like, okay, boom, this works well. I am generating 5 calls a month from this, so this is great. But if you don't test more, you might have one variation here. Maybe you start talking about like getting a $10 million valuation. You start talking about that to e-commerce companies. Maybe this is booking you 20 calls with a really basic email. And this could work 4 times better because there's just more desire, and the alignment with the offer to the niche is just way stronger. Once again, like almost every single one of these variations can work to an extent that you can always optimize it, but you always have to think about the fact that, okay, where is a bigger gap, or where is there a bigger desire or demand for this one thing that I'm solving, or this one benefit that I'm generating? So in the beginning, you're just testing all of these different variables out, and and it's a big algorithm, or it's a big solution. You're like, okay, I'm gonna create a campaign where I'm gonna target e-commerce companies in the US that are doing more than 500,000 a month. And I'm gonna, based on my market research, I think that this, and this value proposition would resonate the best with them. And you test all of those out, and you either have a really good test or you have a really bad test. You get results or you don't get results. It's just a science experiment. Okay, that wasn't it. That wasn't the number one thing. But I think that if I target B2B SaaS companies and I talk about increasing enterprise value, or not having to hire big SDR teams, or solving the problem of unpredictable lead flow, that's gonna really resonate really well. And then out of all of these tests and all of these variations that you do, you're gonna find one variation that absolutely is just golden. Boom. Because you find really good niche and offer alignment, and it's just gonna work. And once again, I want you to remember the fact that here we are talking about really fundamental level of marketing and sales psychology. Every single time when you want to start a new campaign, you don't have to go through this whole mumbo jumbo of reaching out to 20 different industries, or 10 different industries, or 5 different industries with 20 different value propositions. No, that's not the point. But I'm just trying to make you understand what's going on underneath the surface of just your cold email template or a cold email campaign. These are the things that you're really looking for. And when you get more experience, when you run your first few cold email campaigns, or you have worked a few months in the niche, you're gonna be able to exclude a lot of things out. You're gonna immediately tell, okay, hey, I know that 80% of these companies won't actually resonate with these things. Or I know that, okay, 80% of the benefits won't actually be interesting enough. Or I know 40% of the problems that our solution serves, they aren't big enough problems in the marketplace for us to actually run a campaign on it. It's not going to resonate well enough. So we're going to be able to already get rid of most of the stuff that you need to test in otherwise. But in the beginning, let's say you start from a completely blank slate. You don't have really any understanding about anything. You don't know anything about marketing and sales, etc. Like, then this is what you need to do. And you need to do deep market research, and you need to do a bunch of testing, etc. if you want to unleash the highest amount of potential that your offer or service or product has. But of course, when you have even a bit more understanding about your niche and about your service, then of course you can already get rid of 80% of these things, 90% of these things, just based on the common knowledge that you have. But this is pretty much what's happening in the back end, and the smartest people watching this video are gonna understand this, and they're gonna think, okay, this is the fundamental level of this. This is what's happening in the foundations of the cold email campaigns, and they're gonna be able to implement it to their campaigns and start thinking about from this, okay, how do my benefits, or how do my problems to these solutions, or how do these solutions to these problems, how do they actually resonate with these different audience in the market? And is there something else that I should test? Should I present a different value proposition here, or should I actually test different targeting? Because I think there might be a bigger amount of pain here when connecting these two things. And then the people who are maybe just new to the game, maybe you're a beginner or something, you are just, this is not a cold email template that generated $10 million. This is not a fucking Loom strategy that made this amount of money. You're probably not gonna take that much out of it, because usually people in the beginning stages want things get done really easy. And this is not easy. This is something that you actually have to get creative and actually work around to get a bit out of, And then after we have done these things and we have actually find a really good niche and offer alignment, then we move on to different things like sophistication and awareness. Okay, how educated is the market about different solutions in the market? What kind of claims do our competitors have? Do we need to increase our claim? Do we need to bring in a unique mechanism? Do we need to make the unique mechanism stronger? How aware are they of these problems? Do they even know that the problem exists? Do we actually have to first educate them about this problem being in their business? Do they already know that they have a problem but they don't know that they have a solution? Maybe they know about the solution already but they don't know that there is a product for the solution or service for this solution. How much do we need to do educating to actually get the point across that we are trying to get? And this is really the main money maker of cold email. Figuring out who actually has the biggest amount of pain that we can solve and how can we communicate the fact that we have a solution in the best, most efficient way possible. And then when you get these things nailed down and when you get these 4 elements figured out, you're gonna have a cold email campaign that is gonna be absolutely printing. And then you can add different things. Then you can go and you can buy ocean.io and get like lookalike lead lists and all of these things. Or then you can start implementing Clay and do all of these really fancy personalized Clay tables and implement these to your campaigns, and then you can get really good durability, and then you can different strategies, etc. And then you can start increasing the performance of the campaigns, because obviously if you're booking 50 calls a month by just having good foundations, if you're able to 2x the results of that campaign, that obviously has a big impact. But if you're only booking 3 calls, no matter what Clay work tables you implement, even if you take it from 3 to 6, it's really not worth it looking at how much time and money you spent on it. Like, your foundations are still really fucked and your company is never going to be able to scale. And I know I'm talking about cold email in this video, but this is really the marketing lesson for no matter what channel you take. If you do cold calls, if you do door knocking, if you do ads, if you do this, if you do that, this is really gonna be at the core of every single business. And this is what you really have to be focused on. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you're able to implement some of this stuff. Go check out the links in the description, check out our mastermind, check out everything else. Like the video, subscribe, let me know what you want me to talk about, whatever, blah, 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 blah.